here for a spooky story ready for Halloween. My friend Steve, the skeleton, is in the background because he loves a good story. And I've got a great story today. It is The Chocolate Factory Ghost by David O'Connell and illustrated by Claire Powell. If you know the Monster and Chip series, then it's the same author. And the illustrations are absolutely gorgeous. So this is a lovely rags to riches tale. Archie McBudge inherits a fortune, inherits a fudge factory and a fortune, and he'd come from a very normal, humble background, and part of his inheritance is to solve a treasure hunt, and that's the beginning of this story. So let's just waste no time and get straight into, I love a book with a map. First page. Straight into the story, and look at this beautiful picture. Claire Powell has done a super job. I could look at that for ages. Chapter 1. Archie stared up at the portrait of the old man. It had winked at him, hadn't it? If Steve winks, will you let me know? Thank you. He was sure of it. No, he must be imagining things. This spooky old house was playing tricks with his mind. He was sitting in the very grand library of the very grand Honeystone Hall, surrounded by books, just like me. Maybe I'm in Honeystone Hall. How could anyone own so many books? Well, a lot of people have asked me that, a lot of children that I see, it's true. And ancient, rickety and very dusty furniture. Were all the cobwebs real, or were they specially delivered by the We'll Make Your Home Look Creepy company? Mum sat in the chair next to him, fidgeting like she had spiders dancing in her underwear, and too preoccupied to pay any attention to misbehaving artwork. Had the portrait winked at him again? It hadn't. Had it? It had. It even grinned a little. This place was seriously weird. He dragged his eyes away from the painting, which hung above the very grand fireplace. What are we doing here? He whispered for the 100th time. I don't know, Mum whispered back. She gave the sparrow-like man shuffling papers who sat in front of them a sharp look. Can we get on with things, Mr. Tatters? She said. We've come all the way from Invertinkle. Of course, dear lady, said the lawyer amiably, which means friendly. Some of the details of this situation are unusual. I was just checking a few particulars, but now we can proceed. He cleared his throat dramatically. Archie McBudge, said Mr. Tatters, peering at the boy through a pair of grubby spectacles. You are a very fortunate young man, very fortunate indeed. Great things lie in store for you. Archie had never thought he was destined for great things. A few medium-sized things, perhaps. Medium-sized always sounded manageable. Great things sounded like a lot of responsibility, and he wasn't the ambitious type. Really, was all he could say. What was going on? Whilst we mourn the recent tragic loss of your great-uncle Archibald McBudge, said Mr. Tatters, pointing a bony finger towards the painting. The painting? He had a great-uncle Archibald? Owner of McBudge's Fudge and Confectionery Company, and a dear personal friend of mine. Archie's jaw dropped. McBudge's Fudge? He'd never even known great-uncle Archibald existed, but everyone knew McBudge's Fudge. It was the softest, sweetest tasting, melt-in-the-mouth, fudgiest fudge you could buy. The best in the world. Archie had always been pleased to share his name with a company that had made something so famously tasty, but he'd never thought there might be an actual family connection. And from the look on Mum's face, she hadn't either. She started to say something, but was interrupted by Mr. Tatters, giving his beaky nose a good blow. Whilst we mourn his loss, the lawyer repeated, dabbing his eyes, I am very pleased to tell you that your great-uncle remembered you in his will. He picked up a leather-bound folder. Archie and Mum looked nervously at each other. Nobody had ever left them anything in a will before. They'd never known anyone with any money. All they knew was that Mr. Tatters had sent them a letter asking them to drive all the way to the little town of Dundoodle tucked between a mountain and a forest-edged loch, to meet him at Honeystone Hall to talk about some family business. The lawyer was reading from a piece of paper in the folder. Your great-uncle writes, as my nephew is no longer alive, I hereby leave all my earthly possessions to his son, my namesake, Archie McBudge. My fortune, my business holdings and associated properties I leave to him and his heirs. Mr. Tatters took off his spectacles and looked at Archie expectantly. Oh, Archie, said Mum, with a deep intake of breath. What? Said Archie. He didn't understand. What were earthly possessions? Has he left me his gardening tools or something? No, hissed Mum. Archie has left you everything. Everything, said Archie. Everything, said Mr. Tatters. Does that mean I own the fudge factory? Said Archie in disbelief. Where they make the fudge and the chocolates and all the other sweets. Yes, Archie, you own the fudge factory, confirmed Mr. Tatters. And all the McBudge fudge shops, put in Mum, wide-eyed. There's one in almost every town. And all the McBudge fudge shops, said Mr. Tatters. And Honeystone Hall, said Archie, looking around him. Can we come and live here? There must be over 100 rooms in this place, and a very odd painting, though he didn't mention that. And Honeystone Hall, said Mr. Tatters. He snapped the folder shut. Fudge fortune, fudge factory, fudge shops, fudge, Honeystone Hall, the whole lot, even the gardening tools. I must have put my lucky underpants on today, thought Archie. He looked up at the portrait of great Uncle Archibald. The old man in the painting winked at him again, and this time Archie winked back. Tell me, at any point in chapter 1, did Steve wink? Because I wasn't noticing, I wasn't paying attention. Leave me a comment if he did, and I'm going to have another look, okay? Enjoy this book. It's fantastic, and it's perfect for a sweet, sticky, chocolatey Halloween adventure.